We got ourselves a batch of shinies, Commander.
Welcome to Coordinated Fire, episode 35, a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast where I think these two guys shot first and my co-host didn't make it. Welcome. I am joined tonight, as you can see, not by my regular co-hosts, Kyle and Titus, but by two fantastic guests. Kyle is out literally just with double ear infection, and Titus is spending some time with his significant other. So I got the reins tonight, and I brought on two fantastic guests and guys that I consider friends. I have Alex Millar. Many of you who listen know from the KW Wargaming Club in Waterloo, Ontario. Also one of the leads of Battle for Breath. So we are going to be doing a little bit of a preview for Battle for Breath today. I'll be second year taking on the Shatterpoint portion of that event. Greatly expanded, looking to have their biggest year ever. So we do want to deep dive into that. It's coming up here on June 13th and 14th. And then we have Mr. Pure, aka Chris, on the program today. A super great guy. Didn't realize we were probably like 2 feet away from each other at Adepticon 2025. We've talked a lot more over Discord and the great gaming communities we have here today. Going to be talking a little bit about some of the stuff that he's been playing and just trying to put together a fantastic episode and kind of pick these guys' brains on what we're going to talk about. Battle for Breath is on the docket today. Pure Ewoks. This is something that I don't think gets enough love, and we've been wanting to talk about for a long, long time. Alex is a bit of a master and has kind of solidified his place here locally as our Pure Ewok master. Has done very, very well with the list. Finals at Battle for Breath 2025, went 4-0, top 8'd Force Convergence GT last time we did that one. And again, has stuck with it, right? So we want to pick his brain. I would also love to touch with her on the I in V1 list that I think is maybe coming back into favor a little bit. He mentioned it in our Discord, and I was like, yeah, that's the thing. It's really, really good. So I want to pick his brain on what we're going to be maybe seeing out of that list, and maybe we'll see that at Adepticon as well, too. Alex, why don't we start off with Battle for Breath 2026? Like I had mentioned, big one coming up here. You've expanded the event quite a lot.
Yep.
There was a lot of extra space on the curling pads last year that you've decided to expand. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about some of the changes for Battle for Breath this year?
Yeah, I'll do that. And you feel free to rein me in, Sean, because you give me the
okay,
mic. I can talk.
No, and you know, this is an event I know that you love, and when I did it last year, I could get that love, and that's why I decided to jump in back and do it again this year with Shatterpoint as well, too, because
awesome.
I know this is one that's really close and dear to our hearts, and in particular for us here in Ontario. I think it's a favorite event for some people. Kyle has openly said on the podcast it's one of his favorite events of the year. So,
yeah,
all right,
well,
hit us, buddy.
Yeah, let me hit it. So, Battle for Breath, there's stuff in the name there, but the first and foremost, Battle for Breath is a charity fundraiser for cystic fibrosis. So one of the guys who is in our club, one of his children's afflicted by cystic fibrosis, right? And so he kind of started this way back in 2017 and was much smaller when we were all playing War Machine and Hordes back then. Went into hiatus during COVID, and then we kind of brought it back coming out of COVID. And this is my third year strong, I think, really taking over the reins to run it. I've got a business background, so I kind of brought a lot of back office administration rigor. And it's just been getting bigger and bigger. We're planning on probably having around 200 attendees just for participating in tournaments. There's going to be 6 tournaments running for many different games. So we've got MCP, Shatterpoint, Middle Earth, Infinity, Battletech, Age of Sigmar. And am I missing anything? I should actually look at my flyer. We've got
Legion?
a lot of events going.
Legion.
Yes. Star Wars Legion. That's right. So it's like I said, first and foremost, it's charity events. It's I think we try to set the tone, not like casual, like people come to play games and play hard and have a good time, but we're not trying to make ourselves, a GT for Shatterpoint or, some kind of qualifier for other stuff. Oh, I missed Blood Bowl's in there too.
Blood Bowl's been too. And that was a discussion that we actually had kind of internally about when we were going to apply with AMG to see if we wanted to make this a GT. And I actually think it was the right call to not have it as GT status, because that kind of that changes the tone a little bit. It takes away from the charity vibe and the feel of it. But like you said, people come to play. It is an event just for those who are thinking about coming to do Shatterpoint. I'll just toss in that we do it full Swiss. So we're going to be doing 3 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday to make it an entire full weekend event for everybody. And last year that got some really, really positive feedback.
Yeah, for sure. And so, it's a 2-day event. So we run our local, and we'll talk about this a bit later, but our KW Wargaming Guild. So we kind of are a group of people who don't have an LGS. So we created our own space that we rent and play. So that's at the Curling Club. And they graciously donate the whole venue to us for free to run Battle for Breath. So that really enables us to do this each year. And yeah, so we've got, right across the street from the university. So we've got like really easy accommodations at the dorms, very affordable. They are dorms. So
I did it.
Sean,
Yes, they are very much college or university dorms. They are not comfortable.
Yeah.
They are meant to be a crash pad at night.
Yes.
And
but they're across the street, literally.
And sometimes you get some peculiar neighbors as well too.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
That's a story for another time where we're having drinks.
Yeah. We are aiming to get a hotel block, and this kind of ties into. There's a lot of like refinements I think coming this year, which actually I'm excited to like talk a little bit about because those don't really get maybe noticed in all the announcements they're doing on Facebook and stuff. So we really like took feedback in from last year just to buff off some like rough edges, like small things. Like there's a huge raffle for this event, right? Like we reach out to vendors because it's a pure charity event. We get a ton of prize support donated.
Yeah.
Like Artist Opus sent us like $600 worth of brushes last year. We got huge support from J&J Cards locally. They sent us a ton of GW product. It was crazy. And but these small things like the raffle, it's like we just kind of had everyone get in a room. And it's like, let's announce all these prizes. And it keeps getting bigger and bigger. And it takes a long time to draw names.
I went so far this year, Alex, as to call it the famous Battle for Breath raffle because I think that is what it's become. It's become so big and it's become such a fun and integral part of this event that I've been calling it the famous Battle for Breath raffle.
And so, it's like small things like I'm going to pre-roll the draws for 80% of the prizes and keep the big ticket ones to announce and close the raffle a little earlier so people can like, if they're out of towners, they don't have to feel like stay to 4, wait for 45 minutes of going through raffle prizes before they can hit the road. All these kind of little things. But yeah, it's basically at a high level. We got all these gaming events going on. We haven't fully announced it on the website yet, but there will be open gaming. So even if you don't play these games, there's space. You could come in. There's a bar there, so you can have a beer, come out onto the curling pad, just play some games, buy some raffle tickets. There's also going to be like we call it trading outpost, like a garage sale. So you can come in and bring stuff and try and like sell it. There's going to be 200 plus people, maybe plus over 300 foot traffic that might come and buy your pile of shame because, you loved some game for a while and now you don't, or, you regret purchasing something. I think we all do sometimes when you walk into the game store and your eyes are bigger than your stomach. But yeah, I don't know. I could leave it at that, but that's, or I could talk forever more about it if you want to dig in anything specific.
Oh, no,
Sean.
that's amazing. That's amazing. Chris, do you have anything like that in Arizona? Can you relate to any of this in terms of your area?
We have a pretty big local game store here in Arizona, but like nothing exactly like what you guys have there. So maybe the closest thing we have is something called Smite Club, where that is kind of a grassroots
thing. Yes, Todd does that one, right?
Todd helps as administrator.
Yeah,
for the events.
Yeah, awesome.
So, and they do an event twice a year. There's one at the tail end of the year, which has been like holding some of the Arizona Grand tournaments, and I think it will again this year for Shatterpoint and other game systems, of course. And then they do something in February, which we just finished, which is called Scorched Earth Open. That is a little bit more focused on the charity events because I know that one is more of a fundraiser. So
that's amazing.
It's similar, but I wouldn't say exactly.
Cool. No, I think we've all seen charity events, throughout the years probably. And I think it's really something that translates to gaming well because you get a group of people together, you're having a good time, and honestly, people start opening up their wallets, right, for a good cause, like Cystic Fibrosis Canada. I saw a ton of tickets. People open up their wallets, like I said, and it's really good to see how people can come together. And gamers are a generous group. I will give us that. If anything, we can be very, very generous.
Yeah,
we did great.
Just shy of $8,000 after expenses for the net donation last year. So that's pretty sweet. Yeah. And I will say, I'll do the shameless plug. Maybe Sean, if we can put in the show notes, if you can't come, you can still donate. Like we have a Changemaker page up, or if you can't come, you can still participate in our raffle. Like we are committed to be like, if you're a remote person, you win, you're not there, we will get you the prize.
In for the tickets.
I will DM him on Discord as
Beautiful,
well to
nice.
put it in.
And tickets are on sale now for all game lines to be
for all
clear,
the events. They're on sale, and there is no fee to come, even if you're not playing in an event. So the events purely are, or the fees are just for if you're playing in tournaments. You can just walk in, hang out for a couple hours, buy some raffle tickets. That's it,
So, and if you want to come up, like I said, we have a lot of friends. I from Michigan area, New York, they're real close to the border. This is one that you can make a weekend. Like I said, we have the lodging, we have lots of hotels in the area. Sure, Waterloo area is really, really, it's a great city, it's a great town. I love coming up there. If you want to come make a weekend of it, we would love to see you. Awesome. Okay, so yeah, we'll have all the links in the show notes for that. So moving on, let's start our deep dive into pure Ewoks. Again, this is one we wanted to talk about for a while. One that doesn't get a lot of love in terms of competitive play. It's where the game is right now, but I think can almost be a faction that can almost be a surprise to people, right? Because some stuff falls out of favor, and then you run into it on the table, and it reminds you, wow, this is actually really good. And I think, Alex, I'm going to be honest with you, I think the way that you play it surprises a lot of people. So start us off here, kind of what got you interested in playing pure Ewoks when everybody else is kind of off shooting and Ewoks by name, obviously because of what Leia does, right? But what kind of got you into this?
I think I've just, in almost all war games, I'm always a bit of a masochist, and I will play the underdog. I played, gators and pigs in Minions in War Machine, for those that remember, right? Like, they were not good for a long time, but for some reason I just was drawn to them. Or not that they weren't good, it was just like they weren't the common thing to do, right? And then I'll also say I surprised myself with Ewoks a lot there, Sean. I very much would consider myself a focused casual player. So when we did the Force Convergence, and I was like, oh, I won round 1. Oh, I won round 2. Oh shit, I won round 3, and then we went to the 4th round there. And
you went on a run, buddy. We were all super stoked for you, by the way. It was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing with how I look at them, like the highest level, is your health is a resource. Like, they're going to die when they're touched. So there's other crazy stuff if you stack the hunkers and people are shooting at you, where it's like, how did you roll 9 dice defense right now? Like, what is happening, right? Between low gray and, take cover and do a stealthy approach, right? And you're just like, Jesus, like, what is happening? So
run us through the list.
I mean, when I say pure Ewok, so it would be low gray. I should actually just pull it up exactly, see who's in what, but it's both. It's like, it's the 2 boxes, like with the bears, right? So we're talking low gray. Yeah. So it'd be Chirpa, Wicket, and the hunters. And then it would be low gray, trappers. And it's Paplu would be in there. Is maligned. I try, but I do OB2 in there sometimes. So it's pure, almost pure.
Yeah. And then the other 2, when you're running a premiere.
Yeah, when I went at Force GT, the other 2 was Leia, 3PO, and Pathfinders. And then it was a slight twist. So it was low grade Chewie Trappers. So Chewie was in there. And then it was Jin, like the Jin box. So Jin, Bodhi, and Basin Turret.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I guess let's from that premiere list, let's kind of talk about again the list pairings. What's your mission? What are you looking to play this into? What are some of the highlights?
Yeah. I love, just like everyone in Kitchener-Waterloo, First Contact.
They are masochists in this area for First Contact. Chris, do you like First Contact?
No. No, I don't. I tried to like First Contact. I actually started by hating First Contact, but then after I played a ton of reps on it, I came around and I was like, I could almost see myself taking it. But no, if I'm going to play a mission, I'd rather play something else.
Yeah, I could totally see the argument for changing it. Like when they talk about, like, you can't do it forever. Like there's only a couple shifts, like in the second and third struggles there, right? But I like the being able to be like, I'm effed. I can spend force or momentum, right, and change the state. I really like that. That's the main thing that draws me into
And is there any particular aspects in terms of that list that drew you to the mission? Like, do you think there's any particular advantages for pure Ewoks on it, or?
Well, I find that, like, the way that I play the Ewoks is it's a lot of chip and then wait to explode for wounding. So it's like, I'll wound. I mean, you wound when you can wound, right? Or I shouldn't say, I mean, it all depends on state, but generally speaking, I'm thinking a lot about chip damage, right? Like when I think about the trappers, I'm like, I love them because it's 1 success and 1 expertise, and that's 3 damage. And it's like getting 1 down the tree and an expertise is like, I just view them as I can probably get 3 damage with that attack, right? And I'm like, well, you're doing them. I'm like, that's 6. I'm like, great. That's a good chunk of a character for the future to then be like on death's door, right? And when I think about in First Contact, as we get later in Struggle 2 and 3, these levels of like, awesome, I can come up, I can finish somebody, I can I got the chirp, or I got the low grade trigger, which got me the dash on the unit. Amazing. And then I can still spend force, because if I have it, to also do stealthy approach. And all of a sudden, my guys are just exactly where I need them to be. And I've had like interesting stuff where it's like, I moved up and crashed into people in the middle, wounded, and then they split like top right and top left of the board.
Nice.
It's like, how did you just how did you wound me and get on both of those objectives? It's like, what is happening?
Yeah. So you're finding, do a lot of your games go into later struggle, like struggle 2 and then deep into 3?
Yeah. I mean, they go there because either struggle 1 is all speed, baby, right? It's like, you're a glass cannon. It's get up there fast in the midline. If you can score it out super fast, amazing, because you're like, oh, they haven't even got half their guys off the baseline, right? And I can react from there. Or I do that and I get wounded, and then like we are going for the slog, right? But
because that was when Ewoks were first released, like first release. That was the big thing that everybody was talking about, is how fast they were, right?
Yeah.
And that on shifting predators, they were able to swarm the midline, right? And that was supposed to be something that was very unique with the faction. And now, Chris, I don't know how you feel about this, but my kind of feeling is that they took a bit of that uniqueness away because they made almost everything in the game move fast at time.
They certainly can. I mean, like a lot of things can move, but I feel like Ewoks still have the ability to blitz out more movement than basically anybody else in the entire game. Like,
nice.
If we look at some of the most powerful lists in the game right now, they kind of have this dream draw, right? And I guess they have for a while, because if you go back to last year, it was, all right, Iden turn 1, that's terrifying, right? Rebel Commandos turn 1, terrifying. Yeah. Some of that remains true today. Iden's still terrifying. Rebel Commandos are still terrifying. If you're playing against a Rebels list with Cassian, it's like Shatterpoint, or a boss, right? Ewoks have that too. And I feel like it's when I see low gray, right? If he's in that list and I see him get drawn, or I see them draw something not low gray, and we kind of make eye contact with each other, and I know they're going to reserve that card and try to draw for a low gray or Shatterpoint low gray again.
Yep.
And when it happens, it's kind of beautiful. And I think there's like a dopamine hit that happens when they get that card and move so many bodies up the table. Yeah. And it's all happening at the same time. So yes, other lists have a bunch of movement, but I feel like they do it in like massive bursts and waves, and it can be overwhelming when it's coming your way.
And when you're playing actually the pure Ewoks, every model has stealthy approach. So everyone has agency, right? So as long as you're smart on your force, you're like, I can get anybody I draw very far, like onto a point or something.
Low gray really feels like the green light go, right? Yeah. When you hit that, like you were saying, Chris, it feels like an extra little boost of power there when you hit low gray. Amazing. Cool. So you have some notes here, Alex. I mean, the supports, the trappers and the hunters, playing them together. What kind of brings that all together?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like this idea of they all have agency and speed. They are fast. And when you make your opponent slower with pins, then they're very fast, right? So I like the trap card. I like the coordinated fire pin there. And I play, one of our locals, Patrick, is a good buddy of mine. I play all the time. And he's like, I'm always pinned. It's like, he's so angry about it, right? And it's like, you just, it's just rough, right? And then when I do get some of those wounds through there, and they're like, oh, well, that character has like a force ability to jump, but shit, now it's 2 force just to clear a pin. You're like, Jesus, that feels rough, right? Even with like 8 force with, Kiadi and Anakin and stuff, right? So that's kind of the way I see them, and using their volume, right? There's been so many times when I'm playing, I'm like, ooh, that's objectives up high. I can prevent you from getting up that ingress point if I'm just smart of where I put my guys, right? Because you're like, there's not a physical space to put your base within one of that ingress point when you get up there. So, you're going to have to climb. And then if you're pinned, it's just hard to get that. I end up with moments where people are standing there and they're like, you're right up here. I'm like, I can't get there.
Yeah. Big base.
So yeah.
Big booty bases. I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that you say that about the bases, Alex, because like as a separatist, like I started kind of with a lot of separatists, and we had a bunch of big bases over there too. Mm-hmm. And I would constantly hear people that were getting in or kind of learning the game saying, man, I just don't like these big bases because they shove me so far when I get shoved.
Yeah.
From my perspective, it's like a double-edged sword. Like I get shoved more, but I also shove myself forward more, move more, block more. So it's interesting to see that you're kind of more focused on what you can do with that. Do you think that it is a double-edged sword a little bit sometimes?
I think so, for sure. I started in Separatists too. Like that was my jam, right? And just, but it's a little bit of I try to address that by being like, you need to be on the inside. Like, don't be on the outside of a point and get sent out. Like, be on the inside. Assume you're going to die. Like, you have to do what you're going to do. Try to put yourself in a position not to get wounded, right? But it's a game of scoring points, not having the most number of like non-wounds or models on the table at the end of the game, right? So
now you're talking like Kyle. You don't have to win this game. That's good.
Or you don't have to live. You could still win and not have any models on the table. It's
there you
possible.
go. Either or, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. One character in Pure Ewoks that when I was playing them, I thought was really good was Wicket.
Mm-hmm.
Wicket seems to be, again, a really kind of powerful secondary within this, faction.
Yeah.
Have you had success with Wicket?
Yeah, it is also really focusing on, making sure that he is nearby to like bring the extra movement with the supports in, right? Because you got to be within range 3, I think, of the supports when he grabs someone in line of sight.
It's within 3. Yeah.
Within 3, right? Sometimes it's rough because you're like, oh, he needs line of sight to an enemy. And it's like, oh, there's actually a lot of stuff blocking the line of sight. Like on an opening, getting him early in struggle 1 is like a little rough. Like I'll usually like put him back because they haven't broke out yet. There's not a lot of things to pick sometimes for line of sight. But I mean, it's just his tree and he gets there. And again, when you're adding in either like Leia or Chirpa and like just a combination, like his defense, quick wits is like very good expertise on his defense when you add in, extra die from low gray and potentially like hunkers off of, stealthy approach or just taking cover. Like Hunting Horn has been amazing. Again, it's just like layering that in with the pins. Right? Like, well, I have coordinated fire pin. I have a lot out there. And it's like, oh, well, I actually got to push damage through from Hunting Horn on some models and still do some exposes and I can do my things. There's some level of like, I definitely feel when I play the pure, it's how much it comes together when it's all together in like the Ewoks, right?
Yep. Okay. Amazing. One model that I think I heard you say as well, and one that we've talked about a lot, that the three of us, Kyle and Titus, myself, has sung a lot of praises, have gotten a little bit of slack for as well for giving so much praise to, is Obi-Wan, Obi-2.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan out of hiding.
Yeah.
I would love to know Obi-2's place and how he helps our little bear friends.
Yeah. For me, it's like middle of the board and being there when it's like, ooh, Anakin's going to come crash into somebody, right? It's like you're not doing it every opportunity you can, right? To do the disarm, but it's for the big ones where you're like, well, I could spend a force and you could totally whiff on this, right? Because I do have a decent amount of defense. You're not hitting me immediately. It is your big attack. It's like, yeah, let's go for it, right? So I like him. It's just that, right? I mean, like he's decent enough on the point on his own. He gets wounded and he has the extra dice, but I'm not really looking for more than that. It's kind of stacking this, like I've stacked my defense and I'm neutering your offense conditionally there. And all of a sudden you're like, how are these Ewoks living? Like I'm doing these attacks and it's just not happening. Right. So yeah.
Can you use his run on the Ewoks?
Yes. When they're engaged. Yeah. That's the thing that I'm always like, sometimes like, when I was first playing, I'm like making the mistake on that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah,
because that seems real good too. Run.
Yes.
On an Ewok from him when they're engaged seems really good.
Run has been really helpful in times with like Chirpa, right? Where it's like, I got him in there, but you do not want to leave Chirpa engaged in there if he crashed in, because I never want Chirpa and low grade getting wounded. That's like a big thing I'm paying attention to, because the board wide buff is so good and having them wounded and down and that not active is rough. So yeah, the run is rarely used on himself other than if I draw him early and I just need to get him into that midline position and then he's just sitting center of the board like the whole game.
Sweet. Have you, and I don't know how much you've thought about this because you said you are a bit more casual player. Have you considered maybe this Pure Ewoks list for strategic positions, which also seems like a very swarm the middle kind of mission? It feels like it might fall in line here for them.
Leaning into my casual focused player, I literally don't even know what that mission does or is or the layout yet because I haven't had the opportunity in time.
Okay.
I had a baby in the middle of January.
It's all good.
You're like, Alex, did you do your homework? I'm like, I didn't do my homework.
It's okay. It's a very, maybe Chris, maybe you can give some thoughts here on, because I'm sure you've maybe played a few strategic mission games already. Do we think maybe Ewoks would have any sort of juice on that mission?
I think they could, because the mission, a lot of people look at the circle of objectives in the middle of the map and think, wow, everything's so clustered. But they kind of forget that there's 4 objectives way out in the corners also. And the likelihood that those are on is super high. I think it's like 2 every struggle in the corners somewhere are on. And you just end up really having to stretch yourself to go really far sometimes when it ends up being this corner objective you're not close
Mhm.
to. I think Ewoks are pretty good at mobilizing the bears to get where they need to be. So I
Mhm.
actually think they're probably fine there, especially if, and I don't know, right, Alex, if there's a unit that you think you can do this on. I've been trying a lot of separatists recently on strategic positions, and I'll just leave a Magna Guard in the back corner by the deployment because
Mhm.
that's a low impact unit for me.
Yeah.
And they frequently get pinned. And so I kind of say, okay, well, he's going to do a move action and not move, but that's okay because he's in the corner where there's a high likelihood of him already contesting an objective, and he's not going to do a whole bunch for me anyway. Is there a unit like that for Ewoks that you could see maybe saying, hey, this is fine if I just leave something out in the corners and just cap stuff?
Yeah, it's likely the names always throw me off because of like it's the hunters, but anyways, it would be the hunters, right? Like they probably wouldn't be doing that to start, but it's like, oh, I've taken a wound, I walked back up. Now it's time for them to like not be together and split to be able to go to backs or move or just kind of be around the side there and still project out their coordinator fire or their coordinator fire bubble if I want to spend the force. But now it's like not their time to be just freely putting out the pins in the middle of
Yeah,
the
because
board.
pure Ewoks get a lot of bonuses as well too for being together, right? So I
Yeah.
guess picking the time that when you separate them would be very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. The strength in numbers on the Ewok hunters is good, right? But it's when they do, it's not, theirs is not the melee one. The other one, anyways, the point is like, yes, they do well when they're together, but
Sure.
I do find the hunters do tend to like pull back and switch into more of like I'm stealthy approach and hunker and take cover, right? Like to get the extra stuff with low grade. And I'm like, I'm sitting back here up high, on some point, and yeah, I'll do some like little chip, and just like I did an attack, I got one down the tree and put a damage and pinned. I'm like, okay, like it's not amazing, but they're scoring points and they're being annoying to dig out.
Awesome. Sweet. And you have always kind of spoken about getting Poplu in this list. And
Yeah,
so when
I
you're
want to
playing
love Poplu. Yeah.
yeah. And so when
We all
we're
do.
talking about something like this, right? Like when we're playing pure Ewoks, we're going for thematics, right? So
Yeah.
that is a little bit of it here. And you've mentioned Poplu a few times. Do you play Poplu in this list sometimes? And what do you think maybe could be seen as some good like balance changes for Poplu?
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't played Populu in any like event that I've gone to. I do it like
Okay.
locally with the guys and try and get it in there and really trying to have Populu in and around Chirpa. And now I'm blanking on this. I did a write up in the Coordinate Fire Discord a while ago. I don't know if you remember, Sean, right? Trying to talk about having Populu close into Chirpa, right? And like really trying to focus there together.
That write up is what kind of has had us wanting to talk to you about this for a while.
Right.
You inspired this.
Yeah.
With that.
Okay, cool. I'll talk about where I'm feeling like the balance piece there. I find that Poplu is very force hungry because it's like three abilities that cost force on there. 2 wounds, like all the Ewoks get popped off quick, right? So it's hard to justify to like do the full kit, like big attack, even on round 1 when you're just like they're still all costing 1. I don't know what all the ramifications in there, but like my initial feel take is like it's cool having the feigned retreat ability. I think that's a totally unique ability. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know all the cards in the game, right? On Poplu.
Yep.
Making that no force to start, I think might just get it there, right? Where you're kind of like, shit, I can't let Poplu hang out and not get wounded because having feigned retreat for free is sweet, right?
Yes.
And so now all of a sudden it's like, okay, cool. This is like becoming a priority person to focus on versus being like, oh, I just did the wound because it was available to me. And now Poplu's kind of a body on the table because it's hard to like, you're not going to get to do the stuff. You're basically just moving and using stealthy approach for 2 just to get places, right? So yeah, the whole like it gets worse the more expertise is kind of odd, right? But I think if the feigned retreat is lower cost or 0 to start, then you'll get to take advantage of the like, what does this do a little bit more, right? And play with it. It's just, you kind of have to be like, I'm going to try and set it up. And your opponent kind of goes, nope.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't get to set
gotcha.
up the run, so yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So yeah, like I was mentioning, you did really, really well with this at Battle for Breath. You went 4-0 at Force Convergence GT and got into the top 8. Kind of taking this a little bit more into the competitive realm of things. So you have your premier list that you said there. With all Ewoks, you have Jin in there as well too.
Yep.
So you're coming up to your first second round or whatever. You're going through your rounds. What is your list looking to play into?
Yep.
And then on the other side, what is your list when you see something across you? You're going, oh shit, I don't want to play this at all.
Yeah. I mean, maybe the reason why I'm able to do decent with all of them is like I just play my game. Like I'm not playing.
Okay.
I don't actually. I've never. There's still models I haven't played against in this game.
And you know what?
Yet,
I think
you
that
know?
is actually, and Chris is nodding his head too. I think there is something about any war game, in particular in Shatterpoint, knowing your own stuff inside and out can be just as powerful as knowing what's across from you. And I'm super glad you said that, Chris. What do you think about that?
I can't agree more. I'm kind of going down this route myself.
Yeah, talking about separatists, right? I mean, you're back to playing separatists on strategic positions, right? Yeah. That's amazing. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So talk to us a little more about that, Alex.
Yeah. So it's like I'm playing my game, but I'd say it's tempered with I know to ask for like the certain things, right? So, like MCP, I played it for a long time. I don't know things. I'm like, ask about stealth because it really sucks if you don't and then I can't make the attack, right? So it's like, do you get to move off your defensive expertise? Like I ask questions like that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm like, oh, you do? I'm not doing the attack. I'm actually going to stealthy approach hunker and go over here because I don't want to let you move your position, right? Is there a way you clap back off me if I wound this guy? Yes. Like I ask questions like that. So I'm just always asking questions of like the implications of me doing something versus being like, oh yeah, I know this. It's bad. It's like, no, I play my game. My game is speed and it's out there and getting places when I'm going like low grade Chirpa, right? When I'm pairing low grade Leia, I am thinking like Coordinating Fire Expose is a hell of a drug. Like I love it. It's great. I have the Pathfinders in there. I remember we talked about this too, going to Force Convergence and how much I love them, where it's like, yes, it's like do the combined, the big attack, all the dice, the expose, but like it punches through like more often than I would expect.
And
I like how
and a lot of people don't realize too, the Pathfinders, when they have a hunger, they boogie. Yeah. They're fast.
Yes.
They're fast.
Yeah. They do get around. So that's like a lot of stuff where I'm like, it's like get in there, big attack, and then a reposition off that too, because it was a big attack and it went full tree, right? So it's like, So
have you played, and I think you actually did, have you played Pure Walks into kind of the boogeyman of the meta right now, into Cassian, into Delta Squad? How do those matchups feel?
I think it was round 1 or 2. I was into Delta and I played low grade Chirpa. And this was an example.
Did you play Kyle or no?
No, I played. He was a good friend of the guy who I played in round 5 the next day that came in from Michigan. I think it was a buddy. I can't remember. So I can't remember the guy's name. I played round 1, day 2, but he came up with that guy. I think he's from Michigan. I can't remember his name right now. But he was playing Delta, and this was an example of when I was playing that. I was like the big bases. Because it was also, I'm also looking at terrain a little bit, like not in a big way, but a lot of the 3D printed terrain, not the official kits, some of those platforms up top are like, there's only room for 2 of my bases up there. Right?
Yes, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
So I had things where it's like, oh, this is like, level 3 or whatever, 2, like up there, objective, there's 1 in there, and my hunters just went up there, and you can't unseat me. And unless you can like shove me off there and like get up, like it was just rough because I also had somebody on the same level. Like, so it's like they could wound me, but they couldn't physically stand up there. And then we were still tied on the other level. Right.
Yeah. Awesome.
So there's a lot of stuff like that. And then I was also just like every chance I got trying to like shove boss like back and like send away and like pin and do things like that too. Yeah. So
do you find that Ewoks, the movement advantage gets kind of short up from Cassian at all?
It's hard to say because I wouldn't say like I have enough games in there. Like,
it's fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a good comment on that per se. Right. Yeah.
No problem. You're going to be seeing probably a lot of Cassian soon. Sorry, Chris?
Yeah, no, I kind of feel like if your game plan is to pin a bunch of things, you might be fine as long as you can survive into the late game. That's probably going to be the bigger struggle.
Preventing Cassian's reaction moves with pins. Yeah, absolutely. It's like you said, they throw a ton of them. Awesome. Cool. Are you planning on playing Shatterpoint at Battle for Beth, Alex? Or are you going to be doing organizer things?
I am trying to, I plan to try and play as much Shatterpoint as I can this year.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to come to, before that, I'm trying to come to Table Bound Open and be there for that. So just got to make sure stuff's good at home and get my mom to come help watch the kids because I don't think it's cool to leave my wife for a weekend with 3 kids under the age of 4.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, basically. But so I'm trying to do that. And then Battle for Breath, I'm hoping I can play. I'd love to be able to. I think we'll be in a good spot. I just need to probably, I mean, this is maybe a shameless plug. Like, I need some other people to step up to take on some responsibilities, because there's a little element of I've got to be the glue. And I felt bad playing last year because I was doing well, like surprisingly. That people are coming up to me like, I have a question. I'm like, shut up. There's 7 minutes in the round. Like, I don't want to be rude to my opponent. Like, you can't ask me questions about the event right now, right? But then I felt bad to them because like
that's going to be me this year, because the number one comment I got last year from Battle Breath was, Sean, why didn't you just play? It's casual. Like, it's more casual. Why did you just play?
Yeah.
So this year I am on the list to play.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be like, okay, listen, everybody's got to be big boys today and try and figure their shit out at the tables, please. Thank you.
Yeah. It's more, I think I almost felt nervous a bit too, because I was like doing well, and I'm like, I want to be respectful for these other guys, like Greg. I can't remember pronounce his last name, from Burlington.
Greg,
he's a really good player, and I was just like, I didn't want to be. I always pride myself in trying to be like, and I asked the question like, was I a good person to play against? Like, did I do things that were accidental, that was like just not good etiquette of like touching dice or moving things at a time or taking too long, right? Because we only get so much time to play, and I want to play with opponents who are like, I like hanging out with that guy, like win or lose, like it was a good time, right?
And I think that's the vibe that Battle for Breath brings, right? Is that it is when we start. Listen, guys, this is for charity. It's casual, but like play to win. Everybody be super cool, super chill, and I think you can drink there. There is a bar at the curling club. That is always a big perk for me. Yeah. You know, having a brewski.
It hasn't been a problem yet, so please don't anybody make it a problem for us this year.
That's not what I'm trying to do here. It's nice to have a cold brewski and play cam at Battle for Breath and watch them rage. It's always a good time. Sweet. Is there anything else you want to touch on in terms of pure Ewoks that you think people should know if people are interested in picking this up? I mean, it literally is just, it's the 2 boxes that can get you started, right? This is a really kind of just 2 box and you're good to go.
Yeah. I think you should just do it. I think they're fun. I think it's also fun winning with them, because people are like, God damn it, you beat me with Ewoks. Like, it's like you did it, and you did it on quote unquote hard mode. But it's like, I mean, it just takes practice and reps. But it's like, again, I think for me, the unlock was like not being afraid to get wounded. It was like the health is a resource, like for them. So
Chris, buddy, you got something there?
Yeah, I had a couple of like capstone questions, I guess, for you, Alex.
Yeah, hit it. Yeah, go.
Like, if someone wants to approach the game and play an Ewoks premier list, now, is there a certain primary you're constantly playing? Are you anchoring someone in that list, or do you kind of mix and match? Or last year, Battle for Breath, I was just 2 sides. So I was just Leia Logray, and then I was Separatists. I was playing like Dooku Grievous or something like that or Dooku Cad actually on the other side. So I was just playing like the 2 separate things. Now I feel really good. I mean, it's Leia Logray Chirpa, or like the 3, and then like, who do you want to play with that? Mix that in, and it really depends on what supports and where you want to put them and free them up. Like, I love Pathfinders. Like, my Rebels list there did not have commandos in it. Even though I had space in the other slot, I played like the actual Jin box. So yeah, the 3 are like Leia Logray, Chirpa, and then filling in there. And it's kind of filling it a taste. Obviously, like the Ewoks are going to have all the bears, and it's what do you want to have with Leia there, and then what pairs with Leia as like that's the little like thing you play together. So okay. Yeah, so it sounds kind of like you're looking at it and saying, what tools do I need to solve the problem that I'm going into? So I assume then you're looking at the table and thinking, Pathfinders would be really good here. Maybe I want that squad.
Yeah, and I was like, so Jin for me was like, I love first contact. I love going long and first contact with Jin, because I'm just going to heal forever based on you getting momentum, and it's great. And I was like, let's draw it out, baby. Like, I'll just take advantage of her ability as much as I can. So
makes sense.
Yeah.
Another question I had for you was, because we were talking about Paplu, and I was thinking, would you ever, because I'm looking at this expertise, right? And it is, like you said, it's upside down, and that can be kind of weird. Would you ever think of having like a Callus in there as an Ewok, and maybe reroll away some of that expertise to get down to the lower expertise numbers? Or is that just way too force expensive?
I looked at it. I bought the Callus box after Force Convergence, because I played against, and now I forget his name, round 1, Michigan, day 2 or whatever, and lost, and he was playing Callus in Cassian. I was like, rerolling dice, it's really nice, right? But my have been pure dry on how can I go as pure as possible, right? So I guess I don't even know. Can he just, for when I do OB2 in there, could I just drop Callus in there? I think so, right? With the bears, and it would just work. I don't know.
As
I
long as you
believe so.
have Freedom Fighter Leia, I think
Oh,
you're
because I have to
probably
be freedom. Because
fine.
I was
Yeah.
like, I was trying to, like, I'm been on this kick of being like, just play low grade Chirpa, right? It's like that would be the primary, and then something is just it's like there'd have to be something happening for me to not play those two. Like I must do my minimums, right? Or
Right.
something crazy, right? So yeah,
Okay.
that's kind of how I'm viewing it right now, or trying to.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
like that thought though, Chris. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Callus with the rules.
I think it could be cool. It's just like, I don't know. Like we already mentioned that that Poplar is already force expensive. So then if we add in another force expense on Callus, I don't know. Maybe we just go broke.
Yeah, yeah. I felt sad when you do it, right? Because you're like, I'm gonna make the big investment. I'm gonna
Yeah.
spend half my force pool because I only have 6 force, right? And
Yeah.
womp womp, right? And so it's just like, yeah, I find the like chip, small amount of stuff, and then it's just like everything. You're not making as big bets because you're like everything's chipped, and then like I did just a regular attack in 1 force and I got it, and then did I get the force recovery on low grade or not? Oh, I didn't, but it's still fine because my unit got to dash off there, right? And then they got onto objectives, and that took me a while too to really learn. Like I really was down on the randomness of Logre's identity, and then I was really down on the non-force recover for the longest time, and then I realized, oh my god, actually this is really good. I kind of almost mostly want not the force recovery in the movement.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Okay. That is amazing. Yeah. I think again, if you're just getting into Shatterpoint, if you're looking to play something new and kind of off meta, quote unquote, I think this is a great direction. Alex is fairly active in our Discord, on the Coordinated Fire Discord. The KW Wargaming Club has their own Discord too that you can find. And if you want to chat with Alex about pure Ewoks, lots more that I'm sure we could deep dive into in terms of how they play and how they're shaping up right now. All right. Another list that I wanted to talk to one of our guests about tonight that popped up in the Empire section of the Coordinated Fire Discord was Inferno Squad with Vader 1. Chris, this is one that you brought up, and it kind of just popped back into my mind that this was actually a thing. And I had asked in the initial question, and I think maybe for a newer player or somebody who's not experienced, this feels like a bit of a kind of mismatch in terms of an Inferno Squad that is very ranged and Vader 1 who was giving extra dice on melee. Could you kind of break down what this list is and what this list is trying to do, and we can kind of just work through it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting you say that because, yeah, that's, I think, the first thing people look at it and they say, I don't understand why you have a gun line with the Vader giving you melee dice. But if you look closely at all of Inferno Squad and take a look at their expertise, you kind of say, wait a second. I think that their melee expertise is better than their ranged expertise. What's that? What's going on there? Now when they have covert operations on every single Inferno character in the game, that gives them, it's 1 force, they may dash, they get a focus and sharpshooter 1. So they're getting 2 extra dice when they're throwing those ranged attacks. And they have less dice normally on all of their melee attacks across the board. All of them have like 1 or 2 less die on their melee attacks. But when you do covert operations, you still get your focus, right? So that's something that a lot of people are overlooking is when you're making that covert operations, I get a focus. So I'm still getting 1 extra die, just not the extra sharpshooter die. But then if I add in 3 extra dice from Vader in a melee attack, suddenly I have more dice almost across the board, more dice in melee attacks than I do with my normal ranged attacks. And that just kind of breaks the math a little bit, is what I've been finding, is suddenly people are like, wait a second, I thought you were going to shoot me, and I've got these hunker tokens, and now you're in my face throwing melee attacks. A lot of the lists right now have, sorry, I'm going on a little bit longer, Sean. A lot of the lists that I have right now that are at the top tables tend to have less defense dice in melee. I think that's almost across the board. It's, some are better in melee, but most things aren't. So you're actually doubling up on, now I have better expertise, more dice than you're expecting, and you have less.
That's incredible. Yeah. So this list, what is the general strategy of this list? Like you said, it's opponent anticipating ranged, and then you get in their face and melee. Is that the general consensus for the strategy? And then how are you utilizing this strategy? What missions are you looking to play this list on?
Yeah. I'd say flexibility is probably key for this list. I had played a game against an opponent a couple of days ago, and he actually, like, halfway through the game, he stopped me and said, can you answer when are you actually going to use the Vader dice, because you haven't used them yet? It's been half a game. And I said, I'm going to use it when I need it. So if you're really far away, I'm going to shoot you because I'm a gun line. But if you get in close, now we're probably talking Vader dice. And there's some rules.
That feels like a lot of flexibility as well, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Huge
goodness.
flexibility. Yeah.
I mean, you can have some lists like Jedi lists that are great in melee, but if you have to throw ranged attacks, and now there are some Jedi that do have ranged attacks, but they're usually not very good.
Why does Mace have a gun? Anyways, that's my question. Why did they give Mace a gun?
Yeah.
Anyways, what mission are you looking to play on this list on?
It's
a lot
pretty
of time?
flexible. I have targeted when I thought the meta was heavily going for shifting priorities, like with Delta, I would take the other guy's mission. So if I win roll off, I'm choosing shifting priorities. But I'm taking Never Tell Me the Odds as a weapon because I don't want to play against some of the Jedi lists. You know, like I can slap you pretty hard in melee, but I'm not a melee only list. The Jedi can be really, really dominant in melee, and a lot of them have deflect, and I don't want to take just extra damage. So yeah, so I will take Never Tell, and I think this happened in the Sci-Fi Grand Tournament that I just played in a few months back. I played against a great opponent, Dan and Wasmer. He had Boss and Hunter, and then Kiadi and Vader 1, I believe. And he thought long and hard and said, man, I just think Kiadi Vader 1's going to be so good into what you brought, but you have Never Tell. And I don't think I can risk taking Kiadi onto Never Tell. And so he didn't, and I got to weaponize taking his shifting priorities against him.
Cool. Awesome. So one thing we kind of did this a little bit backwards is we didn't go through the full list. So Inferno Squad as is, correct? So
right.
Iden, Gideon, ISF, and then what's the other V1 half?
Yeah, I've been flip-flopping a little bit on this. I constantly am changing it, but what I have run at tournaments is Vader 1, Death Trooper, Escort, and then ISB.
Yeah, cool. So I think everybody knows the Inferno side, right?
Mhm.
We've played this for a long, long time. What are some of the interesting parts and aspects, kind of the nuances of the Vader 1 side, and what does that side of the list bring to the list as a whole, pairing with Inferno Squad?
Well, Vader's a 7, and I think in the current state of the game, 7s are kind of hurting. I think like across the board, it's 7 cost primaries.
My boy Thrawn. Oh man.
Yeah. If they were 8s, oh my goodness.
If Thrawn was an 8, it'd be game on.
Yeah.
It'd be so good.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. But yeah, Vader being a 7.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have to take attacks, and it's tough because Empire has, I think, some of the best secondaries in the entire game. I think across the board, they have the best.
Agreed, 100%. Yep.
Yeah. So how can I not take Death Trooper Escort? Like every time that I take Sergeant there and I take a good support like Dark Troopers or Death Troopers, those supports are fantastic and they do great. But then I have to activate Sergeant at some point during the game, and I'm going womp womp as I
last episode, for those that listened, Kyle Russell famously said, when I'm playing Empire, you can take DTE from my cold dead hands. And I agree. DTE I think for me is an absolute core essential model for Empire overall, and he's the Dark Rex, right? So he's essential. Yeah.
And he doesn't care if he's in ranged or melee, just like my Inferno. I don't really care that much.
He just throws down.
Yeah, he's the same either way. And interestingly enough, he's in the Moff box. Moff gives extra dice when you're doing melee attacks on objectives you don't own. So it's kind of like already built into what he's going to do. So when I get Vader dice on top of it, I threw an 11 dice attack with DTE this last weekend. That's a lot of dice in melee into like Rebel Commandos who are rolling 4 defensively.
Sweet. ISB. Support that I have had a bit of a love-hate relationship with. I have great games with ISB, and I have terrible games with ISB. So where does ISB as a support kind of fall into the game plan here?
I think ISB are almost a 4. They're not quite a 3.
They are. Yeah, they're right there.
Yeah, they're not quite a 4. I look at them and I'm like, they have 8 hit points, check. You know, they have great offensive expertise at ranged, and melee's all right, check. Their defensive expertise is amazing. Check, right? Like those are all things that we're looking for. They have decent abilities on their card. So that's another check. But then you look at their tree and it's like, okay, this is why they're a 3. Like, their tree is not great. It's like 2 damage and then a shove, or 2 damage and then a pin. And, you know, you have to go pretty far down the tree to get multiple shoves. So, and if they're trying to do damage, they struggle to deal damage. So yeah, so they can cause you some trouble. Absolutely. But they're just bodies on objectives. They're taking us back to early Shatterpoint, where it's bodies on objectives for supports, and I don't expect this support to come out of the gates like Rebel Commandos or Baze and Churd and just blast you. They're not going to do that.
I think that was my problem when I first started playing them, is that I was expecting big things for the. I think I had my expectations too high, is what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say, right? For them, and everybody was like, "Oh, ISB they're great, they're great, they're great," and then I play them, and like they're perfectly mid and fine. And I guess it all depends on how the game's going, missing situation, because like you said, like I've had some where they just double hold a point back objectives, or sometimes they go early and they get up there and they're causing trouble, right? So yeah, very hit and miss.
And they have cheeky plays that they can do, like I'm forgetting, it's the Empire version of No Mercy, where they have, if you do a movement action out of engagement with them, you take 2 damage. And you can put a bunch of lists in tricky situations. At the Las Vegas Open at the end of this last year, I had an opponent at the very end of the game. I checkmated him with that ability. He said, I can't make a play.
Nice.
Yeah. Because
just from parking one within 2 of another model.
Yeah.
Beauty.
He couldn't get Wicket out. He had Wicket engaged with my ISB, and he's like, I'm pinned, so he has to deal with the pin, and he just can't. And and they were wounded, so like, because they're going to be wounded, they're ISBs, right? He can climb out, you can get around it that way, but then he's not getting far enough down the map to get to an objective. And you can do the same thing to Boss, right? Boss is going to have 1 hit point. Park your ISB next to him. All right, move, Boss. Go ahead.
We're getting the secrets from Chris here today. I love it.
Yeah.
So a couple of similar questions I asked Alex about the Ewok list that I'm going to ask you here. So let's say that you're going to Adepticon with this list. What are you looking to want to play against at Adepticon with this list, and what are you looking to potentially avoid?
I think I would rather play against boss things with this list. So if people want to take an answer to Cassian and they're thinking boss is that answer to Cassian, I will take this into boss, because boss has a bunch of firepower and it has great supports, but it really just has 1 great support in 7 Scorch, and people are going to lean heavily into boss. So because boss is amazing, everyone knows he's amazing. He's got so much that he does, explosive turns, and he just is amazing, right? If your opponent is going to Shatterpoint boss all the time, he's not going to have supports, because I'm going to kill them with Iden and Vader, and my other things are going to get into melee with your 7 Scorch, who are still just rolling 4 dice defensively, and I'm going to kill them. All right, so then I'm going to force you to spend your Shatterpoint on 7 Scorch, because you need bodies on objectives, right? So my ISB are bodies on objectives, and so are 7 Scorch, and if I kill them, then your 7 Scorch are the same as my ISBs, and I don't care that you spent 2 more points for them. So then they're not going to be able to Shatterpoint boss, who's this great character, because they need to get bodies on objectives when they bring 7 Scorch back up, who I'm going to mercilessly kill again.
And again, and again, and again.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So we're looking to play this into boss. Is there anything, like I said, potentially that we're kind of like, would rather not play into that?
So I'd play this into boss and basically anything. Like it's good versus anything. But
okay, cool.
I don't really care to play against Cassian with this. Cassian has probably more firepower and the revenge trigger on top. You can go murder things indiscriminately against boss because they don't have revenge triggers. It's a lot harder to do that against Cassian. Now, I did play a game this last weekend against Cassian, Princess Leia, because I'm staring at my opponent's premier list. We're practicing for Adepticon. I just got 4 people together and we're saying, all right, we're all going to go to the store and we're going to play a bunch of games this weekend and get ready. So we have our premier lists, and then he drops his premier list. I'm looking at it, I'm saying, okay, you got Cassian, Princess Leia, Ahsoka 1, and Mando. Well, I don't want to play against any of that stuff. So, yeah,
I think you posted about this, how you were just like, no thanks.
Yeah. And that's more of a me thing than like, I think it's overwhelmingly good. It's just like, I have a problem like reining in and being patient and waiting for the perfect time to strike. I want to go, gas on the pedal all the time. Mm-hmm. That's just more of a personality thing for me. And so when someone has like a denial game plan, that's hard for me to hold back on and be a Jedi.
The revenge list. Wait a second, I have a response. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. It drives you nuts.
Yeah. So I did play this list into Cassian and Princess Leia. Man, it was every single decision. I'm sitting there thinking during his turn, what am I going to draw that's going to take an objective? I don't look for kills. I don't look for damage. And I was telling my opponent this as we're playing, because we're practicing it out, right? And I'm saying, hey, all right, I'm about to go with Hask, and I don't need his covert operations. I've got 1 force, so I use that to move my ISB onto an objective, and I put Hask on that objective too, and just took it, and then did some chip damage because I don't need damage. I'm looking for the shoves. I just played a heavy shove game.
And sorry, you can do that with this list, because you mentioned something interesting there. Like, we're talking about a gunline squad with Vader 1 who murders. Does this list have the ability that if you're, unfortunately, you know how sometimes games go, if you're in a spot where you got to kind of turn on a dime with this list, it has the ability to do that? Yeah.
Yeah, it
Okay,
does.
sweet.
It's just hard to bring yourself to that mental state to do it because you
Mm.
know you can kill things. You know you can just, oh, that's a
Right.
juicy rebel commando.
And you
know,
got to
go get
rein
it.
it in.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do. It's really hard. But you can do it. Everything has shoves. Like Aiden on one side, Aiden has 3 shoves. She's got 2 shoves on her killing, or 1 shove, sorry, on her killing side on 3 boxes in. So she could pin shove. We like pin shove. You know, that takes objectives and it keeps them
Yep.
off the objectives. Hask has the similar thing, bunch of shoves. ISF, sadly, no shoves. But body's on objective. End of
Not
the
yet.
game.
Maybe the next balance pass. Maybe they'll have a revelation in the next balance pass. Hey, maybe we should give him a shove, you know, early somewhere. Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe. I actually shatterpointed my ISF in this last game I played, and I was scared of getting into a position where I knew I was going to activate them again, and I didn't have access to shoves. And I'm like, okay, I'm just shooting a bunch of bodies really far away, hoping to pin strain and just condition and put bodies on objectives.
Yeah. Huh.
But yeah, for the Vader side, like you look at Vader 1, he has a lot of shoves too, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
DCE shoves. So you just play a shove pin game, shove strain game, right, Alex? Like you just shove them and pin them and keep them away from those objectives.
Yeah.
Sweet. That's awesome. Nice. Yeah, I've always been a big fan of the lists that are toolbox. That's the style I've always enjoyed playing. And it's when I look at this list, yeah, it has a lot of toolbox elements, right? It can change gears very quickly, so to speak. And that's what, when you brought it up again and I was reading it, I'm like, this list is actually really cool and really, really good. Awesome. Cool. I'm going to throw a little hot take question here since I got you, Chris. In the current meta, are people sleeping on Aiden right now? Do you think?
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I a little bit of a loaded question there, but I just wanted to throw it out there, and I hope that people, when they listen to this episode, they can toss it into the podcast discussion as well too, because I agree. And Aiden is a primary that actually I stopped playing for a long time, and I started questioning myself as to why I did that.
Yeah.
I've always been a proponent of playing Thrawn. I think Thrawn, again, I need to give up the ghost. Thrawn is just, I don't know how Eric does it, but for me, it's not working right now. And I'm going to start implementing Inferno Squad into my Empire Premier list again, because I think Aiden is real good. Can you talk to me about maybe why that is, and what place do you think, Chris, from your games and your prep at Adepticon, maybe people are sleeping on Aiden a little too much?
She has fantastic mobility. And I think that's something that we just see across the board, that Shatterpoint really thrives. Like you're going to really thrive in Shatterpoint if you have lists that are great at moving and getting around things like pin. She has on her turn, she's got a dash tactic that can clear a pin. She can advance and then dash again. So she has a lot of mobility, even if she's spending a tactic to clear pins. So she's very, very mobile. If you look at her tree, similar to Boss, another big scary thing right now, she has dashes on her tree. I have opened up many games where at Las Vegas Open threw into Aiden turn 1, which of course we want to do that. That's a great opener. My opponent looks at me and says, I don't think you want that here because you're not going to do a bunch of damage. And I said, just wait, I'm going to take your objective on the back line. And he was like, how? Okay, well, I go up
Let
there.
me show you.
You're going to love it. So I go back there and I just double shove him off with the side that nobody uses. I think I heard a really good player at Adepticon last year say, oh, nobody uses that side. I'm like, why? It has all the shoves and the dashes on the boxes. And it has more dice. You were throwing 10 dice. That's a lot with great expertise. So yeah, you can just go like open out of the gates, come over across the map, steal their objective by shoving them off of it, dash up a ladder, and then you're on their backline. So Aiden just has so much mobility. She has expose ready to go whenever you need it. If you just look at something and say, I'm scared that my dice aren't going to dice, I can expose them. And then her identity is empire defining.
I think it's still great, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's still so good.
You get a heal, you give somebody a condition that's a disarm or a strain, and then you get a dash after you kill something. Like, that's a lot of stuff that you just got when you get a wound. You know, and if the meta shifts back to Cassian, Princess Leia, okay, well, you know what I'm not very scared of? A disarmed Princess Leia revenge attack. And, you know, I was dropping disarms onto my opponent's Princess Leia all game long, and he was sitting there going, well, he's rolling his dice. I need some natties.
Yeah. Yeah, natty crits all day. Yeah. A disarmed charming Leia is very, very sad. Very, very sad. Okay, that's amazing. Yeah. Any kind of final thoughts on this list, Chris? I mean, reasons why people should play this list. Just drop us whatever you're thinking.
Give this more of a chance than you think it's going to take, because you're not going to see it all with just 1 or 2 reps probably. And if you play it 4 times and you say, no, this list isn't for me, it might not be for you. You know, I played this list and I said, if this becomes a thing, great. But if it just is me, great. That's fine too. I don't mind. But there's a whole bunch of ins and outs to the force efficiency of this list when you look at something and say, I don't think I need to spend force on my ISB or on Hask's dash or on the ISS focus dash. You can just use Vader dice in certain situations to supplement like not getting dice in other ways, especially with Iden. You know, if your Iden gets damaged a bunch and you're like, I don't want to go up to 7 damage with my primary to do this. It's one model. It's a primary. It's okay. Like if they're not wounding my ISB, I'm coming out ahead if they're throwing attacks into Iden Versio. So ISF, I'm sorry, not ISF, Inferno. Everyone always looks at that and say they just slow down when they get wounded. That's true. But I think I activated my ISF this last weekend 3 times and I spent 1 force.
That's crazy. That's great. Yeah. That's amazing. That's
and great. You're going to need all 7. You have 7 force in this list, but I was still hitting 0 at the end. So if you're spending recklessly or where you think it's not reckless, you're going to run out. So you have to be very careful, but it has the efficiency tricks to get you in there and get you back in the game.
Amazing. Amazing. We have a local event. I'm sure you heard we do our events at Critical Hit here in Ontario. This is going to be one half of my list for that event. I want to get some reps in it. I'm actually probably just going to play because we took away the your Destiny rule. I might just YOLO play this list 3 times, doesn't matter what I play into, and then I'll bring Cassian PLC for my last round, right? That's the way I've been kind of treating our local events. Is they're really good testing grounds as well too. I'm sure you find that with your local game store as well too, and the testing you do as well too. Just get stuff out there, try it, see how it goes. Okay, amazing. And I just wanted to wrap up here, Chris. You are going to Adepticon again this year.
I'll be there.
Okay, amazing. Alex, I know you're not going to be going, but what are we expecting from Adepticon this year? Our game had some changes. We are going to see some shifts and changes throughout the year and probably going into 2027. What do we think we want to see from Adepticon? What are we hoping for? Alex, I'll start with you, buddy.
I mean, for me, I just love the game, and you know, I'm sure there's a lot of dooming out there with announcement and what goes on, right? I mean, obviously it depends on the broader community, right? But even something that's not coming out at a rapid pace. I mean, me personally, like I couldn't keep up with 40K and those other games. It's like release, and update and patch and all these things. You know, I just I'm kind of just not like waiting, excited or optimistic or negative. It's just like let's just see what their plans are and what they say, and then take it, you know, month by month, quarter by quarter, and enjoy what we have, you know. And
I love what you said there, because like when you look at the Ontario schedule, at least the local Ontario schedule, even post event, we have tons of events happening. Like I think in the next 3 to 4 months, we have somewhere close to 6 or 7 events for this game, you know. And the reason why I wanted to touch this at the end was because you guys have been heavily involved, I think, within communities, right? And I think that's really, really important that even in the times that we have right now, that community remains the focus. Chris, how are you guys feeling over in Arizona?
Mixed feelings in Arizona. I know that, you know, we kind of are hoping that there's a broader range of things at Adepticon in terms of lists, but I think we're kind of feeling like we know what's going to be there. The top dogs are going to be there. You know, I think there's a little bit of fatigue over that. That's okay. I'm still bringing stuff I want to bring because I need to enjoy the game at the end of the day. Yeah, you know, and I would say, Alex, if I had a bunch of Ewoks painted, I would actually bring Ewoks to Adepticon. It wouldn't be the pure Ewoks, so I can't get that badge.
Well, you want me to ship you some Ewoks for Adepticon?
Hey, Alex is a great painter. Just saying that might be something to consider. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so you know, in terms of like what we're hoping to see from Adepticon this year, I mean, I think like we're thinking like obviously roadmap. We want to see some new releases, that kind of stuff. I think they're going to have a lot planned for us. I just don't think they can say a lot in terms of the situation, but overall, like I'm still super positive, right? And we've talked about 2 lists tonight, and this is kind of the point I wanted to get at here that really go to me show the depth of this game, the strategy of this game. Like we're talking like pure Ewoks and how to make that work. That's a list that nobody talks about, and that's why I wanted to bring it up tonight. And then Chris, you know, this one here too, like mixing and matching a gun line with a melee, right? And I think these are the unique things within this game that make it super, super special. And I'm hoping that no matter what we see at Adepticon, that we can continue to have a great community and kind of see what more juice we can get out of this game, right?
Yeah.
Here's what I think I want to see at Adepticon. You know how that first year they gave us, like, at the very end, there was some art of Thrawn's face? I just want that.
Yes.
Like, I don't need to know anything else. If they said, just so that I know something else is on the way, beyond the First Order stuff.
Yeah.
If they're like, here's a picture of something, and I think that would tide me over. In addition to whatever they're planning already, I really hope that that's something we see.
Okay, guys. We are going to plug, I think, Battle for Breath one more time. Alex, you want to run down?
Yeah.
Tickets are on sale now.
Tickets are on sale June 13, 14 in Waterloo, 2026 in Waterloo, Ontario. You can go to kwwargamingguild.com and all the info is there. And there's a bunch of info about our guild if you're curious about that. And maybe another time we can talk about that because that's been a whole thing of like building up from nothing, right? And not having a real LGS to play at. And we've got like 55 members paying now and we rent a space and we've got a great community, third space kind of vibe here. Lots of different games. But yeah, accommodations available. Tickets include lunch as well too for when you guys are coming out this year. So we're getting that all organized.
Yeah, lunch this year.
Yes. So that'll make it easy for, just to like finish your game. There'll be food at the head table with the TO just to grab your stuff and eat. Big raffle, trading outpost for buying stuff or selling stuff, bar there so you can have a drink and enjoy a good weekend. And, it's all for raising money for cystic fibrosis. We're trying to hit 10K raised this year. So we did about 7,700 last year. So get to that 10K milestone this year.
I think we can. I think
we can do it.
With the additional games, I think the curling pad is going to be real busy this year.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be great again. This is one that I think a lot of people look very, very forward to. If you've never been before, if you're listening from Ontario, get to this one. If you want to come from the States, I always harp, we're worth the drive. We're worth the travel.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
Chris,
Sean,
oh, sorry. No, I have one final thing to say.
That's okay. Hit me.
Yeah. I have my own segment for your show. I have a surprise for you. Well, a surprise. I have a tease. This is great content for a podcast. Okay. I have these mystery packages for you and Kyle and Titus that say, do not open until podcast. So I was going to give them to you when you were going to be here in Kitchener last Thursday, but unfortunately couldn't make it. So it's great content here for now. What's the tease? So you got to go on, listen to the next episode of Coordinate Fire or future. You don't know when it's going to happen. And it's a tease for you because when I get it to you, you must not open it. You got to open it live and get a reaction video on the cast. So yeah, there you go. Right. So people need to keep listening to know what's in the box, what's in the bag. So
amazing. Okay. Thank you for dropping that. I'm stoked. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Chris, any last thoughts here, buddy, on anything we've talked about tonight?
Keep an eye out on strategic positions. If you haven't taken a look at it yet, it comes out, I think, on the 14th here in the United States. Don't check your local areas if the release dates are different. So it will be available at Adepticon. Be ready for that mission because I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like 50% of the players bringing it.
Yeah, it's really good. I haven't had a chance to play it myself. I've seen other people play it, have kind of, theory crafted on it. I think there's a lot of stuff that could play very well on the mission. A lot of people have been talking about one of my favorite characters, Mother Talzin, on it. I would love to see some sort of resurgence of one of my favorite primaries in the game. I used to play a ton of Talzin. I think she's great. Yeah, that's interesting. Cool, man. And you are continuing to obviously do some last minute testing. Do you want to kind of allude to what you are working on? Do you want to keep it all shush for now? I'll just, whatever you want to do, man.
I'll tell everybody if someone wants to know what I'm running. I'm probably running Iden Invader 1 because I still really enjoy the list and I think it's good. I had a local tell me, hey, maybe we reban some of the top dogs. And I was like, if you ban the top dogs and I run Iden Invader 1, you're going to have trouble. So
I'm a crush.
Yeah. So I'm going to run Iden Invader 1 for sure. And the rest, I can't bring myself to stop flip-flopping on that stuff. I've run Dooku Asajj, I've run, Moff and CT-9904. I know, because I'm a masochist and I have to.
Oh, so, Titus will love hearing this. Yeah. Okay. There you go.
We'll see if it makes it. We just
Yeah.
have to see. So I think I've got a premiere list over here that's all Empire. So I wouldn't be surprised if I did something like that. We'll just have to see what that last two squads
A
are.
man after my own heart. I knew there were reasons why I liked you, buddy. I knew it. I knew it.
Well, hold on, because I might run boss. So I don't. So
Okay.
because if I,
All right.
yeah,
We'll
'cause
see.
I-
We'll see what comes.
we'll see.
We'll see what comes out of the wash and what you actually registered that day of, buddy.
That's right.
Cool. Awesome. Hey, guys, I want to thank you so much. This was kind of last minute. I messaged both these guys, I think on Sunday night. Mr. Pure, you are kind of under the weather as well too. So I just want to say that I appreciate both of you. Thank you for being, not just great friends to me, but to our podcast. To your local communities. Alex, you do a ton in the KW area. You do a ton for us up here in Ontario. I know you're doing tons of great stuff for Arizona out your way as well. And yeah, I just want to say thank you very much for you guys for stepping in. This was great. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much
thanks,
for having
man.
us.
Thanks for having
It was
us.
a lot of fun.
Cool. All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. See ya.